Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Trigger Warning. I am TT.
I'm Kim O.
Welcome back. I feel like we haven't seen each other.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It feels that way, but it really hasn't. It's only been a week.
No, it's longer than a week.
For real?
Yeah, because I didn't see you last week. It's longer than a week.
Yeah, but I felt like we saw each other the week before, though.
Okay, maybe the week before, but I feel like, first of all, I feel like time is flying.
Time is flying.
It's already damn near the end of the year. It's Christmas. I was Christmasless.
Yeah, I had a crazy summer, man. I just been so
How was
busy.
your summer? Was it okay? Because I feel like last summer was so much fun, and this summer feels like I want to slit my wrist.
Well, this summer started off crazy because I had a death in my family.
That's right.
So I've been...
So sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been planning a funeral and in and out of hospitals, and I just feel mentally and physically drained. If somebody would have told me, when the clock struck 12 at, January 1st, 2024, that this would have been kind of the year I had, I wouldn't have believed them. But I'm working through it. It's been a very tough year. It's just been like a turning point for me, I think, in my life in general, to kind of put things in perspective.
TT getting deep today? Is that what's happening? I feel like
I
you came in here, you was like, I'm leaving these sunglasses on because I ain't got no makeup on, sat down, and now it's like, it's heavy. But it feels very heavy in the world.
No, it's definitely very heavy in the world.
Yeah.
But I feel like everything that I've been through kind of in this year and a half, just, in my personal life, in my work profession, it's moving me in a different direction. And I'm just kind of like embracing every moment of it. Because it's so unexpected. And it's like, okay, God, what are these lessons that you're trying to teach me in these moments?
Right.
And I'm humbled by them. It's tough, but I'm humbled by them because it forces me to sit with myself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I was having a tough week too.
Yeah.
And I just, at some point, I was like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And you just got to let it happen.
Yeah, one of the things that stuck out for me was acceptance with joy. That quote has been sticking with me for quite some time. It's just you have to accept everything that happens to you with joy because nothing happens by mistake.
Right.
Everything that we go through in life is for our
reason.
purpose.
Yeah. And you gotta learn. You gotta find the lesson in it. And it's hard. Every time I keep thinking you're blessed. Like when I go through things, I'm like, you're blessed because I'm almost scared that something worse could happen.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you go through something, and then I'm like, but wait, it's not as bad as this.
Yeah.
And so I try to find a lesson in it and be grateful.
Yeah.
For my health.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it makes us better human beings, and it opens our eyes to see, okay, what picture am I supposed to paint today? What else?
Heavy TT today. This is a heavy. It's I see it.
So that's why today I just came in. I have no nails. I have no makeup. I am stripped down version of TT. Normally, I come in.
It takes so much for us.
Oh my God.
And I said the last episode, I came in here, I was rushing. I don't know what I had going on, but I was too busy. Sat down when I saw it, and I said, Kim, you could have gave yourself 30 minutes to put yourself together better. Now stop this.
Yeah.
Stop this. Right? So
you look nice today.
Thank you. I said,
really nice
put
today.
on something acceptable today. Because you really went in a T-shirt and some leggings last time.
But I also think it's important, too, as we go through this thing called life, that you do take time for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And making sure that, you're good.
Yes.
One of the things that I have, someone on set is letting their
listen,
phone
I'm about to say first day on set.
One of the things I said to myself, like today when I was coming in, I'm just fucking tired.
You're tired, yeah.
I am fucking exhausted. Because the thing about me, if you don't know me or you don't work with me on a day-to-day, I'll keep going. You know what I mean? Life will knock my ass down, and I'll just get the fuck up, and I'll keep going.
But that's what it's all about.
And going and going.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, no, I need to just...
You need to stop.
Take a reset. I need to go away. I need to be on the blue waters. I need to just hit a hard reset and take a break to like woosah. You know what I'm saying?
It is. I feel like that as well. A lot of people just in my immediate circle are feeling the same way. So, you know, I'm a big believer in the universe and all of that other stuff. So I definitely feel like there's some sort of like, there's a portal opening somewhere. Yeah. Like something's happening. Yeah. Because everyone is kind of going through the motions and feeling like there's just something not right. And then I also think as you age, you're dealing with different things that you never really thought about when you were younger. Like I keep thinking about, damn, 20 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about this. But as I watch time fly, I'm like, oh my gosh.
What are you thinking about?
Well, I think aging as a woman, professionally, like those are conversations I have a lot. And it's interesting because even when I see things online, we'll get to it. I say, you're not even in that space anymore. Like, and you can't be. Like the media, hip-hop media space, right, which is what we're doing right here, right now. I feel like I put myself back in it just by sitting here with you and having these conversations. So we're having these conversations, and I wonder when I scroll and when I look at stuff, I'm like, are you really there the way that you used to be? Now, I'm very much in the know when it comes to the stories that are out and how I think everyone pretty much is. But when I watch the hip hop, I will say, because that's where I come from, media and how they covered things and the game, I was like, thank God I switched my career into television at the time that I did in 2005. I was forced, but I did it. Yeah. What would I be doing if I didn't have that? Because I could not compete on the level that they're competing in that media landscape. I'm just like, for what I did and my peers back then, right now, I'm sure you've seen it, they're fighting over lists. They got a list out.
Well, complex list.
The complex list, which I haven't seen anything else from Complex in the last 10 years. No disrespect. I just don't look to Complex. Like, it's not what I'm reading. Again, like the so consumption of just what's going on. I don't get it from the same brands I got it from when I was at the source. Like, there's no magazine. Like, am I going online? Like, complex.com, who's on the list? That list is like, is it for the general consumer? Is it a point of conversation for people? Is it a slow news week? Like, they fighting over the positions on the list. And let me say something about lists, since we're going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. It was a heavy week, but okay, time to snap back. Those lists, because they were my specialty when I was at the source 20 years ago when I was doing lists. They really there's no basis for them, right? It's just a judgment call. It's blind judgment of whoever's in a position. And really what it is for those people who are making the list to go and get cool with the people who they feel like are on top of media so they can one day be in their spot. Because that's it. Because you don't really know who's doing the list. So even at the source, what we did, right? We did put metrics together, and we did have a larger team of people back then to be able to vote on these things. And sometimes it got technical, right? Like, let's do a list and let's put the numbers down. But really, we just put who the fuck we wanted to put on the list.
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's why I always stood by never letting a list define who you are.
It's really
it's really like, I understand what you're saying.
They're
like,
fighting over it,
where do you fit in this media, thing that's going on?
I don't care though.
But that's my point I'm trying to make is a list doesn't define what you contribute to that space.
Right.
Or who you are.
Especially when it's a list of, y'all don't read Complex for nothing else. Stop it. Like, just stop it if that's what you're doing. Now, all of a sudden, everybody want to talk about the list because they on it. That's the whole point. They're like, what are we going to do? Nobody's reading it. Oh, let's do a list of the media people so they could all talk about our list. But really, when's the last time you talked about anything on Complex?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like, you talk, but now we're talking about the list. Here,
but I don't think there's anything.
What they do it for?
I don't think there's anything wrong with constructive criticism.
Right.
I feel like, Elliot took what Charlamagne said personally.
Okay.
And when I looked objectively to what he was saying, I kind of looked at it as a constructive criticism take, because there is parts of you that undeniably have to grow up in media.
Right.
I say that to say, like you transition into television. I'm transitioning into the leadership role. Mm-hmm. One day, I'm not going to be on the radio every day. I'm on High 97 every day now, but that's not what I aspire to be forever, because I do realize that there is a whole new generation behind me that I should be coaching up
to bring them into to take those roles. Right.
But I think what happens sometimes is that the generation before me feels like they have to gatekeep forever. And there's nothing to gatekeep anymore because of the internet. Right. You can't gatekeep this shit no more. They do what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it. So the point is, if you're going to do something at that bigger age, don't be provocative in how you do it.
But let's back up.
But let me just say, and from his perspective, I see it. He doesn't want. He saw the people before him, and I guess what he's saying is, I don't want to be them. I don't want to be 50 still trying to interview.
That?
Charlamagne.
Okay.
But let me finish my thought. I don't want to be 50 still trying to chase something that a 19-year-old should be doing. And to me, I felt that was fair, constructive criticism.
Okay.
Because I compared it to Kamala and Biden. Right? Gen Z made it clear that they did not want Biden at the top of the ticket.
Right.
And when they moved her up, she had 70,000 new voter registrations within 1 week. Raised the highest amount of money that the Democratic Party has seen in the campaign. So I say that to say is like, there's nothing wrong with embracing your age because you have legacy, and nothing can take away your legacy.
So let's go back. So let's go back, right? Because we jumped ahead a little bit. I want to go back and say, so there was this list on this brand of hip hop media, like professionals, and the ranking of where they felt in what order of importance. Was it like the most popular? Like, what was the criteria for the list was my point. But anyway, so Elliot came in at number 5. I believe Charlamagne came in at number 4. Academics was number 1, Budden was 2, and I don't think I saw a woman on the list at all. But
no, Angie was on there.
What was she?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but she did make the list.
Okay, great. So we have a woman. Great. Like, I always find that odd when it's like all control, like so male dominated. But so they had this list, and then Charlamagne made a comment on his Brilliant Idiots podcast about where Elliot fell on the list, and then what you talked about, just his, what you call constructive criticism. Elliot took that, posted it, said, fuck you, and then now it's proceeded to be, for the last 4 months, no, I'm kidding, 2 weeks, them going back and forth and saying things. It's because Charlamagne says something in response to that, right?
I don't think he said anything.
I thought he did. I thought he went on the Brilliant Idiots podcast again.
I think he said what he said. No, I think it was just one sitting.
One time?
Yeah, that he said what he said. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think, because if you think about it, Elliot has mentioned him in the past. I remember watching Elliot say something about him on Academic's show a while ago before the list, saying something to the effect, I'm just not feeling him like that, or something to that effect. But damn, I just lost my train of thought because I was a point
No,
I was
I probably because I was just probably cutting into because I get Elliot. Elliot probably gets emotional, but that's what makes him who he is in the space today, right? His emotions, the fact that he reacted the way he did, the fact that he came out. Because I think a lot of people, and I'm not justifying his actions, right? But it is kind of personal when you saying where I should fall on the list. It's personal because we all know these lists are not really, there's no criteria. We don't know what the criteria, show me the numbers or the metrics of how you, it's a popularity contest, right? So it's what they think is good. So if you're gonna come out and say, hey, I don't think he should have been 5 on the list, right? That's a clear, I'm coming for you a little bit. And so the other party has the opportunity to respond the way they want to respond. And what's kept Elliot so high in the rankings, the fact that he is 5 on the popularity contest, is that he does shit like this. You know what I'm saying? So I see it more so as a media move for him. But because if he don't say nothing, he falls lower on the list. You gotta do that dumb shit. Like they go back and forth, academics, and all day they just.
But that's my whole point, though.
You gotta do it.
I think my whole point I'm trying to make here is that you are going to say things because you want him to react and respond to you.
Absolutely. That's the game, though. But that is the game. That's what the name of the list should be. You know what I'm saying? It should be the list
let me ask you this.
Caddy back and forth men.
But let me ask you this.
Top 5 caddy back and forth bullshit.
But does it come to a point where, because I watched this play
out. Because it's not like they're not doing stories like that.
But I watched this play out with 50 Cent and Rick Ross too. And I said this on my radio show. Does it come a point where it's like, you're too old for this?
Yes, but I think that's what we said at the top of this, right? Like we're in this where we're talking about things in our lives and we're doing this, and this is for, like, to me, I look at it as like what we're doing is for a completely different audience. Because ain't nobody that's going to watch, their streams or what they're talking about wants to hear what we have to say. But there are people who want to hear what we have to say. And it's probably people that grew up, you feel me? Yeah. Like, and there are our age. I'm not doing this for like that particular audience. I have a lot of things to say, and that comes from the experience I have as a woman, the experience I have in the, in my profession, right? Just in life. It comes from all of that. And I think that's why it's great what we're doing. But that particular, I do come from that space. Mm-hmm. I won't deny that. So I can, I have that in me as well. But I couldn't be on people asked me for a long time why I didn't podcast. I can't do that. I can't be like, oh my God, Drake just dropped the record. Like I can't do it online all day. Yo, did you hear? Like what are y'all doing all day? But that's the game. That's where the game is. Like that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's their business. I don't know what you call it anymore. I guess you call it the media on the media list. I just can't. That's not the content I'm consuming. Like constantly. I consume it because it's entertaining as fuck. So I love it. I watch it. I love a Shade Room post and funny shit. And I love to dig into the comments and look at stuff. But at a certain point, I got to shut that off. Like I can't be engaged in shenanigans all day. Yeah. That's all it is. And that's what their business is. And that's what the business of hip hop media has become.
Yeah.
It's the business of hip hop shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like it really is. It's a shame, but
And I also think that too, people jump out the window and say things about you when they feel like they should have had the success you've had, if not more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, you can't deny that the Breakfast Club have built something special.
Absolutely.
And outside of that, Charlamagne has built something successful. Mm-hmm. You cannot deny that.
I would never.
You cannot deny that.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like in the media space, they sometimes say things or throw darts at him because they feel like I've been doing this longer, and in their mind better than he has. Why haven't I surpassed him?
Well,
and I'm not just saying that about him in particular because, obviously I work for Hot. He works
Right,
for Hot.
right.
I don't care about. I never in my entire radio music industry career have cared about being in competition with someone, because at the end of the day, we don't own these radio stations. So I never got caught up in like station rivalries.
Right.
And, all of that. I don't own it. My name is not on it.
Yeah.
When they're ready to fire me, they will. But I'm not just saying that particularly about him. I'm just saying in general, when we talk in our last episode about Cardi B, a lot of the hate comes from the fact that people feel like I've been doing it longer than her and she's better than her. How come she has had this amount of success and not me? And then that turns into hate and bitter. So let me mention her name so that I can get attention on myself. But in the reality is you're just hating.
In a way, because I think it depends on what your goals are. Like when I look at Charlemagne, I think Charlemagne, one of the things he's mastered is the pivot, right? So before something is up, he's like, I'm going to go in this lane. I'm going to go in that lane. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a book. I'm going to do a podcast network. I'm going to do, television, whatever it is. He sort of mastered getting himself into different spaces to grow.
But I'm a challenge you on that.
As a media personality.
Is he pivoting, or is he showing us what it could be? Coming from black media, a black media personality.
Right.
Think about it. Think about a black and brown media personalities. How many of us have gotten to the game and had that level of success? Wendy Williams was right on the cuff of being that for us in her generation. From someone who came from a microphone, a radio girl. I'm a radio girl, so I can talk about this.
Right.
Wendy was on the cuff of showing us what this shit could be. I feel like he is showing us in real time what this shit could be for us.
Yeah,
I get that. To me is inspiring because I come from that.
But it's growth, right? It's
growth.
Also growth. It's seeing yourself in a bigger position as you grow.
And when we think about our radio heads, when I think about Russ Parr, who has a nationally syndicated morning show in DC for many, many years, what he's been able to do in film and all the other things that he's been able to do, I don't think he gets enough credit for the path he paid for a lot of black media coming from urban radio people. I look at Steve Harvey and I say, okay, well, Steve came from comedy, he came from that, and then he came to radio. But when you look at our white counterparts, like Ryan Seacrest, Elvis Duran, all of these people, they get those looks. We oftentimes don't get those big looks.
But I also think we're talking about two different things, because here, you're speaking from a radio perspective, right? And when we look at what Charlemagne does and what Elliot does, and where they came from, they really came from two different forms of like media that now have merged. So now it's the same thing. But 20 years ago, or even 25, I don't know how long everybody's been in the game, they had separate functions, right? But with the advancement of technology and where we came, even in a space of social media, right? Because that probably is the most influential broadcast platform that we follow, all of us, right? Like, people aren't listening to radio the way they used to. Lord knows nobody's reading a magazine, right? But everyone's on social media. Yeah. So those two roles have now merged into this different role. And it's very personality driven. And it's, the radio personalities, they have that advantage, right? Because you're used to being on the radio. It's different. The journalist is used to being behind the computer, right? And doing more research and doing more long form. So there is sort of like this gap of like experience in the media space for social media, because now it's this, right? Like, this is how you do it. But we've lost that other art of where I think Elliot can be more influential is by adding more of that into what he does. So if he were more informative, right?
I think he's trying with the podcast.
Probably. I gotta watch it. Elliot, I've known for years. Charlamagne, I've known for years. I respect both of them and what they've done in the game, right? I gotta watch it to see. But if he added that,
I never forget. I cornered Elliot one time at a Future album release party, and I said to him, I said, you guys paved the way for women like me, but y'all never really highlight women in the media space. Y'all never really give us the crowns for what we've done in the media space.
What do you say?
I think he said something I was kind of tipsy. That's why I went at him so hard. But I did go
hard on him. How you
gonna
tell a story and be like, I don't remember what he said. I think
he said something like, you're right, or I'm gonna do better, or something like that. And I was like, y'all don't really give voices to women. Y'all all try to take over and blah, 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 blah. And I was definitely on the mo. So,
well, every time I talk to someone about this, they're like, oh, you mean the Woman Who Complain podcast? Oh, so it's complaining because it's coming from us. I don't know if the pitch of our voices is higher and it reads more like complaining, but they're doing the same thing, right? They're venting and they're not, really
and if
too
that's
different
all
from
they get
complaining.
from this podcast, that's very sexist as hell.
It's very sexist, but that's, listen, I go on a podcast and they ask me, about somebody I might have been fucking 20 years ago, right? Yeah. Somebody else goes on a podcast and they're like keying about it. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. And you know who I'm talking about. When you're doing interviews with certain people and you're not asking them a bunch of questions, but you digging into my past from 20 years ago. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's fucking insane.
Ask the questions. If you're going to do that to me, ask the questions. When you get a big interview with somebody, ask the right questions. But the favors that are, if we get a Joe Budden on here, right? It's like, podcast for podcast. Like, that's the biggest podcast out there. They promote our podcast. But you're not going to ask him the questions that you should be asking him. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think journalists that have our background can get ahead, right? Because an Elliot, right, shouldn't be in it for the shock value of what a Charlamagne does, right? But if you get somebody on your podcast, then ask them the questions that everybody else is scared to ask because they're too busy about wanting to promote their own podcast on the other person's platform. So that's all they're doing. All the podcasters are going on each other's platforms, right? So that they can promote and get their own platform up. Journalists can win by doing different things. Don't worry about, getting this person Budden and the whole, the whole Budden and gang on your podcast just to promote. Do a real interview. Yeah. Do a real interview.
And I like when media personalities evolve over time. You know what I mean? When I look at how Angie has evolved in her interview style in real life. When I look how even Charlamagne has evolved, where folks used to think of him as just being the shot guy. Right. He has evolved so much.
When he does the interviews, yeah.
And his interviews and his intellect and and again, you just gotta give the props where they're just due. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I know those two work for, my competition stations, but, Angie has done a great job at just evolving over time, and he has too. You know what I mean? You cannot stay the same.
But I think Elliot has evolved as well, right? By even being in that space. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm not saying he hasn't. But there are points of that conversation where Charlamagne was talking about, if you're this old, I do have feelings about that as well. I do feel like sometimes we grow out of that space, so I get what he's saying. But I feel like, Elliot has been able to probably the longest sustain in that space. So that's a testament for him as well. Because the rest of us are out. Yeah. We're good on that.
Yeah, but that's by choice.
Yes,
that's by choice.
By choice. But maybe not everybody, because some people are still trying to do it and it doesn't, it's not translating.
It doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
Speaking of big interviews, I love the fact that Oprah and Gail sat down recently.
I did like that.
To do an interview, and they talked about the rumors over the years of them two.
Of them being gay. I loved that.
In a lesbian relationship.
I loved that.
And she, tackled it so well, in my opinion. She said, and if we were, we wouldn't hide it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I loved it.
But I think that's the first time they ever
spoke about it. Yeah,
because people have been saying that for years, and they just kind of never addressed it, because I can understand why. It's just stupid. Why would I address something that's so stupid?
Right. But then I like the way she flipped it too, on some like, damn, like y'all act like women can't be friends like that, the way that they are. And that's kind of true too. Why did those rumors even start? Just because of the way they had each other's back. Right.
And that's what true friendship is.
It's crazy.
True friendship is having each other's back like that.
Yeah.
And I love that relationship. Like me and my best friend, we have a relationship like that.
Right.
Where I feel she's the only person on the planet who does not judge me. The good, the bad, the ugly, ever since we were like 20 years old, running around New York City, no matter who I dated, no matter what decisions I made in life, she wrote out the good, the bad, the ugly.
Right.
Never judged me. Might have said, girl, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know about that. But if that's what you want to do, I'm going to ride till the wheels fall off. And those are the relationships that stand the test of time. When you feel so safe with someone.
Yes.
That you can 100% be yourself.
Yeah.
Even when you're not your best self.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this age, I feel like just my friends have been my strength, right? Like they're the ones who are there when I'm going through something. I call them, and I always tell my friends, if I'm calling you, I'm good.
Yeah.
If I'm not calling you, then check on me. But if you hear me and I sound distressed and I got like all this shit going on, complaining, I'm hurt, whatever it is, as long as I'm calling you, I'm good, because I'm calling you because I know you're going to pick me up out of that space. If I'm not calling you, then that is when I'm in trouble. And that's why if I don't hear from my friends, I get worried. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. Is this person okay? But I feel like that has been that support group that I have. And I think as I've gotten older, I've really found that in mostly women.
Yeah.
And gay men, I will have to say that. But you know what I'm saying? Like mostly women who have been the company that I keep and, share like-minded ideas with. Yeah. So it's different. It's almost like hard.
I don't know if my husband would be acceptable to that type of relationship with a man.
Oh, okay. So we're transitioning into this part of the podcast.
No, I'm just saying.
Listen, because this is good.
I'm just saying, because think about it.
He wouldn't.
I would not.
What man would?
I would not be acceptable for him either.
What man would?
But think about it. Like, to be that intimate with a friend, that means you have to be extremely vulnerable.
Vulnerable, right.
With no walls.
Right.
My husband, if he was to have that type of relationship with a woman, I don't care if it's friend or not, I would not be okay with that.
I get it, because I was married and I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Now, when I find my second husband, because, I know some of my friends are on number 3, I'm like, what's really happening with me here? But I will never do that again. I'll say that. I will never sacrifice my relationships with men or women for that person. And that's just a learning experience, right?
But what do you mean by that?
I mean that I have male friends that are also a part of my support system. Maybe not in the same way my girls are, but I have a lot of male friends. Before I got married, I had a lot of male friends, and I cut everybody off in my marriage. And I didn't have male friends.
But I don't.
And then when I got divorced, I had no male friends, and I needed some male friends. So I had to find my male friends again. So and it's not about, like, I would respect my husband. Like, I'm not going to, you're never going to be in a room and I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable, on some, I know it wasn't real because they cut some of it out, but what was the Megan Good hug with Michael Ealy?
Yeah.
Right? I'm never going to make, my significant other feel like that, right? You're not going to be hugging me, like, and I'm jumping on you, legs around. Like, I'm not going to do that. But there's a mutual respect. I have male friends, and I'm going to hang out with my male friends.
But I'm not talking about that. I think that is okay. What I'm talking about is that deep, intimate relationship that I have with my best friend Janta, I would not be okay if he gave that to a woman, and nor do I want to give that type of intimacy for a man outside of my husband.
Understood.
Because I want to feel that that you are the safest person
Place that I
can go.
Yeah.
That there is no walls, there is no boundaries. And let me tell you something. That has not always been the case, even in marriage. I think we had to go through some valleys to get to that space where I feel safe enough to be that person with him because of the past trauma that I have been through in life.
Wow.
It made me very closed off to having that deep connection with men. And I think, not having a father in my life played a big role in that as well. But when I kind of went through a lot of therapy and, dealt with a lot of our issues, I think we moved more into that space. I still feel like we have some growing to do.
Right.
And some trust that has to come with that. But I know that I don't want that with anybody else but him.
Right.
And I want to still have my girlfriends because girls talk about things.
Of course. And I think when you say deep, intimate love, I get it. Of course. Like, that's not, come on, what are you really doing, right? Like, if you're having, if you're married and you're having, a deep, intimate relationship like that. That's not really what I mean. Because I don't think even going into my marriage, I had, those type of relationships. But I have male friends. Now, I will say this. They would call me all times of the night, right? Some of them. I don't know if some of them were trying to do anything else, but I'm just saying they were just friends, and I stopped that, right? I stopped that when I got in a relationship, because that's what you do.
You should have.
Yeah, you respect. Going into another relationship, for me, I'm not going to, listen, I'm going to turn my phone off, but I'm not going to tell people, don't call me after 8 because I'm with my man. No, fuck no. Yo, I tried to call you last night. Oh, sorry, I had my phone off. It's different. It's different now.
I don't know about me, but I feel like men, if they have that type of relationship with women that I'm talking about, that deep, intimate type vibe,
right?
They're fucking them.
Sometimes they're just trying to fuck.
Oh, they're trying to fuck. They're fucking them.
Sometimes they're just trying to. Just like if you're. Here's what I say.
Have those relationships just with women. No.
They're trying, right? But
it's two guys in a room. You're fucking them, right?
If what?
Yeah, y'all don't want to answer because you're fucking them.
I do believe, right? I have some friends that I've had for over 20 years, and we're really close. Now we respect each other's boundaries, right? But we have deep conversations. I don't think all of them, maybe one or two, but I don't think they're trying to fuck.
No, that's not the intimacy I'm talking about here.
What type of intimacy? That's why I say you got to define intimacy.
The intimacy.
You on the phone at night, what's up?
No, the intimacy where you have walls, no barriers, the most honest and secure place you can possibly go. Think about it.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Y'all don't have to answer it today, but think about it.
Okay. That's a different level of intimacy.
That's what I'm talking about. Intimacy. And I only want that type of intimacy
with your husband.
With my husband.
Right.
And I have male friends who I've been friends with for years. They're like bros, homies. But I'm not giving that part of myself to them.
Of course not. But as women, we're very nurturing. I think women are loyal. I don't look at women as usually when you're with someone, you are with that person, and it's very hard to share yourself with other people, right? Even if you're maybe dating more than one person, women are not like that. Men do that, right? Men will be in a relationship and they will
fuck another bitch.
Well, but yeah, they'll do that. But they will scroll and like photos just to see like sexy pictures just to see which, when you liking somebody's photo, let me tell you this, 'cause I've seen this online too. When you liking someone's photo and it's a sexy photo and you don't know that person, you're liking it to say, I like you. Do you see me? do you see my like?
Yes.
Because if you're a man
I
and
agree.
if you're a man and you're liking and emojiing, like to me, it's a very feminine quality.
It's an attention
Because
seeker. Look at me. I'm over here.
You want
Pay
the
me
girl
attention.
to see you, right? Because
Yeah.
you can't tell me, hey, I like the way she look. Her body, she look good. You can't say that if you liked it. You liked it because you want her to see you. Please see me. Please see me. Maybe there's a chance
you give me a wave
that I
back?
can fuck
you.
And here's
Later
the thing. Right. Now, there's some women that go for that, right? The worst thing you could do, I always say this, the worst thing you could do is DM me. The worst thing you could do, and listen, I ain't popping like that anymore, maybe 20 years ago, but ain't nobody DM me. It ain't crazy like that. But occasionally I get the DMs where people are like, hard eyes or whatever. Oh, I'm going to marry you. And I'm like, this is the worst thing for me at my age. Like, for you to come at me like that. Because then that means, that's what you do. And I don't want to be entertaining someone who does that, because that's corny to me. First, come at me with a check, because that's going to open up communication.
Nah, Kim, you're not.
No,
being
I'm dead
fair.
serious. I'm dead serious. You want the communication with me and you don't know me? This ain't going to do it. Nah. Come at me with a check, and now I'm going to have a conversation with you. Right? Now I'm talking to you because I'm getting paid.
Check are they going to say? I got a job offer for you tomorrow?
I have gotten checks through social media, opportunities. Now, think about it, right? This is strategy here. Now I'm giving it away, so now you can't even do it. But the strategy is, let me get to know her, right? But I'm not going to go for get to know me off of you sending a fire emoji, or first of all, please don't emoji me if you a dude. Like, please. It's just very feminine to me. It's just very feminine. So, like, you're going to come at me with a conversation that I want to be in, right? So an opportunity or a check is something that I will entertain. So now I know you. Now you're on my radar, right? Because you put money in my pocket.
But not all guys have the opportunity.
But don't do it on social then. Like, I'm trying to, like, really figure out, like, don't do it on social, because, like, really the social media of it all is such a turn off to me. Like, and it stresses me out. When I've been in situations and I see the way people behave on social, I am very stressed out by it. I'm like, is this the same person that I was just with? I'm like, is this the same person?
But
like,
there really be
you're
chicks
thirsting
falling.
on IG?
But there be chicks falling for that.
No, I know. Listen, I can't say anything to those chicks, because I'm having a conversation with someone one day, and then the next day I'm like, oh my God, he's all over social looking for attention from other women.
Yeah.
That's to me, it's a feminine quality, but it's also immature. Do you know what I'm saying?
But it also reeks insecurity.
Right.
It also reeks insecurity. And you're trying to fill a void in some part of brokenness in you, that you feel the need to always seek this attention and validation from women.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, women have to understand that he's just seeking your attention. He's not going to wife you. He's not going to give you the life you think you're going to have. He's going to fuck you and send you on your merry way, for the most part, especially if they're in a relationship with someone. What do you think they're going to do? You're just there to fill a void. And that's just the hard truth.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hard decisions, Kamala Harris has now been endorsed by Joe Biden. He stepped down. Mm-hmm. He's not going to run in this election. She raised so much money since announcing that she's going to run in November. She also registered 70,000 new voters in like a couple of days.
Right.
So Gen Z seemed to be really excited about her. But I also see a lot of things online that makes me just want to throw up. Number one is the idea that she sent all these black men to prison. And I'm like, first of all, that was a lot misinformation that was created by the right-wing media when she was running the first time,
Right.
and people just kept going with that narrative. But if you really break down the facts and you look at her record, then you will see that that's just not true.
Right.
But people, they have that ingrained in their head. Then I look at artists like Sway Lee, who jumps out the window and says these things about her. And it's like Trump is telling you in real time what type of democracy you're going to have.
Right.
I don't understand it. When I
Right.
look at Amber Rose and what she
Right.
says and how she continues to spread misinformation about she incarcerated all of these black men and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the most craziest part of all of this is Trump literally saying in one of his campaign speeches, when he was speaking to the Christians, that don't worry about, voting ever again after this election because I'm going to fix that. I was like,
TT, we skipped this man getting shot at. And I just can't even have the conversation without discussing the fact that I know it happened last week, right? But I feel like we should have been here the day after because the many men of it all, the 50 Cent, the spectacle of what that was. I'm like, how can we even go that route? Like, to
but
me,
it's
I'm
like
feeling
the disrespect, but it's like the disrespect to the office, right? Because if a former president got assassinated or attempted assassination on his life, that is not a laughing matter. But the spectacle
Right.
that we have now turned our democracy into, it's like you can't even take the fact that this guy has been shot at seriously.
Right.
Because of all the rhetoric. And then, not to mention, he goes out and say, I think the assassination made me worse. After saying he was going to bring everybody together. This situation where we are in American politics is crazy to me.
Right. The shooting was where I felt like
But let me ask you
there
this.
was so much there that just we didn't get a chance to talk about. I guess it's old news now, but this man got shot at and then took a picture with his fist in the air, like the Black Power fist. And I thought it was the craziest thing I had seen. I was like, and then like the controversy behind was it a bullet or was it glass from the teleprompter?
But then the whole badge on his ear at the RNC convention.
I was like, the press, the reality show that is his campaign to me speaks so much louder than anything else in politics. And I cannot believe he is running again. And there's actually
because people believe it. People believe that rhetoric.
I cannot believe that. I cannot. I'm like,
This
is insane.
Do you believe that Kamala has a shot at really winning this thing?
I do.
Yeah. You know what?
And it wasn't easy for me to come to that because I'm just kind of like, I always have these doubts about this country, but then I remember when Obama ran, I had doubts, and I was like, damn, it'd be great if he can win, but can he really win? And then he won, and it was like, oh my God. So I am faithful in this election that she has.
And she has
in her campaign.
right?
Yeah.
She's been vice president for 3 years.
To me, there's no when we talk about politics and like just who is
the most
qualified for the job. I mean, to me, it's like there's no comparison. There's just no comparison, right? It's like, but again, the same way I talk about us on social media and like what we're consumed with as an audience, it's the same thing in politics. It's like people are watching a reality show and they're going towards that. Like, listen, because when it first happened, I was like, this was set up. I thought it was a whole scandal. I said, looks crazy to me. To me.
Yeah. But I saw some people say, oh, this country wasn't ready for a woman when Hillary
Right.
So what do you think this country's going to be for a black woman? And I saw a lot of women of color saying this. And my response to that was, I wish I would stop talking like that.
Were they at Amber Rose's slut walk?
No, but just
because I'm just trying to figure out where they.
But I just want us to see ourselves bigger than what the what ifs say.
Right.
See yourself bigger than that.
Right.
Because we can make the difference. Women can really lead. We can make the difference. If you want to get something done, 9 times out of 10, a strong ass lady gets you to the finish line.
You already know, but I think it's just what we're dealing with. So I feel like I'm gonna pray on it.
Well, I want y'all to get registered to vote.
Please do.
And I want you guys to turn up in November, because honestly, everything that this man is saying on the campaign trail, believe him.
Yes.
All of this police immunity. Sonia Massey just got shot and killed. Gunshot to the head.
I feel like there's so much that we haven't been able to talk about. So like even when the mention of Sonia Massey, right? Like I have so much to say on that. We should save that for next time. I have so much to say on how horrible that was, on where we are in 2024, the fact that that could happen. Like it was so obvious that she was ducking, like
she was ducking and
shot her in
I'm sorry.
I cannot, but like that video is so traumatizing, and it's just like this man was actually given a job in the police force.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's getting deeper into like the problems. Like,
why was he even there in the first place? Why was he an officer with a badge?
Who gave him a job? Like, all this stuff that's coming out now, I can't. We got to talk about it next time.
But I say that to say is, when you give police immunity,
right,
you're just basically giving them permission to run wild.
Right.
No accountability. When you stack the Supreme Court and you say that the president is above the law, you basically saying that the president is above the law is insane, because where is the accountability? No one should be above the law. We all need to be held accountable for the things that we do. And when we abuse power or we do something that is not legal, we should be held responsible for that. Because we would, regular folks would.
Absolutely.
So on that note, we are going to save that for our next episode. So make sure you guys plug in the trigger warning where you can get your podcast. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. Our YouTube numbers are doing extremely well.
Ow.
They love us on
YouTube.
Ow.
Let me check it out.
So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. Mine is TT Torrez.
Mine is Kim. What's mine?
Kim Osorio. She don't know, but don't worry. I don't know the hell
my YouTube. I'm getting it together. I swear I'm going to get it together, y'all. I think it's Kim Osorio Media. Yes.
That's it. That's it. So our show is doing very well on YouTube. So they're catching on.
And we ain't even doing nothing yet. Wait till we start promoting.
But thank you guys.
Thank you.
For real.
Trigger warning. Pow, 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 pow.
All right. So we're out. Bye, guys.
Later, y'all.